Hey traders, Marcello here, founder of the Day Trading Academy. Today we're going to be talking about, is Bitcoin a good investment? We're here in Costa Rica. We're here for an entire week. We're actually celebrating the birthday of one of our traders. He's one of the traders that we have in our trading center down in Colombia. This is the reason why I like to be able to invest in the financial markets, because it's not really about making money or making $1 million. It's really about being able to have your financial freedom, right? And being able to travel around the world. We have internet here. I can, maybe do a pan for you guys so you can see the whole hotel. It's absolutely beautiful. Some of the comments that I'm going to make about Bitcoin is going to anger some people, okay? Because I have a very different perspective than what I think most people have on the digital currency. I think many people are investing in Bitcoin and they think that it's a way to circumvent taxes, circumvent reporting, circumvent a lot of things. And I don't think that people have completely thought this through, because on one hand, you have the guys that say, no, it'll never work, this and that. And then on the other hand, on the other extreme, you have guys that are saying that it's the way that we're going to be able to decentralize control. The government can't do anything about it, and it's the future of the way things are going to work. I agree with parts of both topics, and I also disagree with some as well. The first thing that I think we should look at is the volatility in Bitcoin. I know that it was the best performing currency, and it was reported by the news. I'm sure you guys heard. One of the reasons I wanted to actually record this video is because the Bitcoin ETF that just came out was actually denied by the exchange, so they weren't permitted to create their ETF. And a lot of people are putting a lot of money and their savings, or only accepting payments in Bitcoin. And I do agree that Bitcoin has fundamentally, and all cryptocurrencies, has fundamentally changed the way that we do business, especially in the financial world. There's a lot of banks now that are using the technology. There's very prominent, let's say, investors, people who have called the market right in the past, that talk about how the government is going to use that technology to create their own digital currency. And one of the things I think we should really consider, and one of the things I think that we should really understand and really kind of get down to it, do we really believe that the country is going to allow that our currency system is going to be decentralized? The government obviously always likes to control things. The government always likes to make sure that they control the populations, right? Got to pay your taxes. Taxes keep going up. Inflation, great for governments, bad for consumers. Many people don't know that we have already had 3 central banks in the history of the United States. The first 2 failed. The third one is the one that we have right now. So it's important to understand all these things, in my opinion, to be able to talk about whether Bitcoin is a good investment or not. Obviously, you can trade Bitcoin. We day trade. I've been day trading for 15 years now. I have not gotten into trading Bitcoin at all, because I feel that the best markets are still things like futures, where you get very high leverage on very little money. There's a trader that I know who makes more money trading $25,000 accounts on futures than $1 million accounts in stocks. So if you're going to consider putting your money in Bitcoin, I personally would not, because I don't think that part of the technology is safe. Now, hold on there, because I know some of you guys are gritting your teeth. It's foolproof, it's decentralized, etc., etc. I agree 100% that the technology behind Bitcoin is almost 100% foolproof. Especially since, there's the, to explain it in an easy way for you guys that don't understand, they have the cells of people around the world that process transactions. If one cell goes, another cell pops up. As I mentioned, a lot of banks now are using that technology. That blockchain technology is what's going to revolutionize the financial system. But I don't think that cryptocurrencies or digital currencies are actually going to change. I'm very hesitant of the fact, and I think that most people don't realize that the only thing that has to happen is the government of the United States, the government of Europe, and the government of China, literally over 60-70% of the world's economy, just blocks Bitcoin. They say it's illegal, it's for terrorists, right? And you can't use it. Yeah, of course, right now there's car companies, there's department stores, everybody's accepting Bitcoin. But what's going to occur when, like online gambling, for example, when the government just decides it's over? China started to put a crackdown on the currency recently, if you guys want to look that up. The European Union is starting to, let's say, enforce itself on the laws required or the laws that companies have to report for European citizens in terms of profits made from Bitcoin. The United States also has started moving in that direction as well. They've also stated that people who make money with Bitcoin technically do have to report it. With the volatility also that we have in Bitcoin, obviously over the long haul, it'll probably keep going up, especially with the instability. Countries like China, Venezuela, Argentina, I believe Nigeria is another one as well, is very big with the cryptocurrencies because they don't have anything else. And for those people, I think it's a great investment. But I'm not sure that everybody understands the gravity of what the government can do just because they feel like it. Tomorrow, or you know, the next financial crisis that we have, because we've had them, you know, Great Depression, the oil crisis, 2009 when Wall Street bailed out a hedge fund. You know, we've had crises over and over and over again. And I don't think that we look at history and understand what happens, that the government always wins. The government, in my opinion, is not going to allow that the control of the currency and what they do to the financial system is going to be taken away. Obviously, you can't block things on the internet, but when legitimate businesses are not allowed to accept Bitcoin anymore just because the government says so, what are you going to do with all the Bitcoins? You're going to change them into Venezuelan bolivars where you have 100,000% inflation every year. You see what I mean? Another thing that I think is very important to understand, and I think has gone underreported, is the fact that some of the Bitcoin exchanges have actually been hacked. So remember that there's a difference here between the blockchain technology and the exchanges themselves. In the last hack that occurred, which was in Hong Kong, overnight, just like in Cyprus, everybody got a haircut. Basically what that means is that if you had $1,000 in Bitcoin, or I believe it was Ethereum, if you had $1,000 of that cryptocurrency in the exchange in Hong Kong, you literally took a haircut by 30% and you only had $700 instead of $1,000. Same thing that happened in Cyprus with the financial system. Same thing that, you know, they were saying, no one's gonna get a haircut. We're not gonna take the money away from anybody. And then all of a sudden, from one week into the next, everybody who had more than $100,000 in their account, government took their slice. We're getting to the point now, I believe, where there's so much debt in the world. I mean, the debt under Obama went up by 10 trillion. The debt under Bush was a record as well. I believe it was 5 or 7 trillion. We're getting to the point where we just can't manage all this anymore. And when we get to the point where things are starting to get, let's say, uneasy, right? A lot more people try to take their money outside of the US. They're gonna start with the currency controls. And the only thing they'd have to do is flip a switch. Say, okay, you're not allowed to use Bitcoin anymore. And for those of you that have money in Bitcoin, how are you gonna get the money out? I understand that some of you, in reference to that, may say, well, you know, there's no way that they can do that. Bitcoin will always be around. But there's already companies where technically Bitcoin is illegal. Now, obviously that doesn't matter because of the internet, but I don't believe that we should underestimate the government, because the government always wins, ladies and gentlemen. And as much as I love the idea, and I like the idea of having a decentralized financial system, because I always believe that the market is best, the government, the only thing that it does is it adds more problems. I'm sure, you know, going to get your social security number or passport or something, I'm sure you guys have been through the process. It's chaos, it's bureaucratic. So I think it's important to be able to think about those things and understand them. And that's why I don't think Bitcoin is a good investment.
Yeah.